Okay. Thank you so much, IEC Communications Director and Training, Mr. Makam Khan. Welcome to the Issues That Matter platform.
Yes, thank you for having me, Mr. Balde.
Okay, can you tell us how many registered political parties do we have in the Gambia as of now?
Yeah, as of today, we have registered 20 political parties. That is currently the IEC have registered, that the Independent Electoral Commission have registered 20 political parties for now. And let me just tell you that we even have more in the pipeline. But as of now, it's 20 registered political parties.
When you say when you have more in the pipeline, how much do you estimate? You think it's more than 20 or maybe 50 or even 100?
Yes, because I know right now there are some few applications, I think 4 to 5 applications, and more have even picked forms to register political parties. So I would say we expect at least 5 or 6 more political parties. But again, this depends on whether they fulfill all the legal requirements, because I know it's very tough to fulfill some of those requirements. But for now, you know, as part of the political rights of people, people have rights to association. So once they come forward and request the package to form a political party, the IEC can do nothing other than provide them the package to register as a political party. And then the onus lies with them to fulfill all the legal requirements to be registered as a political party.
What is the requirement formalities, the checklist that you have to have before you are registered?
Yes, the checklist, one, you need to have supports, that is, you need to have endorsements from at least 10,000 registered voters in the Gambia. And also amongst these 10,000, you also need to have 200 at least from each of the 7 regions. So that's the requirement for the supports. And I think this is even one of the most challenging requirements for most people trying to establish political parties. And also we have a fee that they have to pay, which is 1 million Gambian dalasi, that you need to pay in order to register as a political party. And again, you have other requirements, which include providing the list of your political party executives. Also, you need to have other structures in place, including having your regional offices. As you know, as per the 2015 amendment in the electoral laws, political parties are required to open regional bureaus across the country. So these are some of the requirements. And again, also the political party has to provide the IEC with its constitution. That is the constitution governing the conduct of the political party. I think these are some of the main requirements mandated by law to register a political party. Of course, some of them have to be fulfilled before registration. However, others would be fulfilled along the way. For example, the biannual congresses, which requires political parties to hold congresses, that's national congresses, every 2 years. So I think these are some of the requirements for a political party.
How prepared is the IEC to deal with the number of parties or presidential aspirants? Let's say now we have 20. Is the IEC ready to print like 20 ballot boxes, you know, pasted for electorate or for voters to cast their ballot for those people?
Yes, absolutely. Once the IEC registers a political party, I think this is a moment that we have to readjust our logistical arrangements. So I would say the IEC is ever ready to conduct elections for all the 20 registered political parties. Right now we have 20, and I would say it means that the IEC worked on the necessary logistics in order for all of them to contest in elections. Of course, you know, in the Gambia, we use the marble and the ballot drum, which is a unique method of voting. Of course, it is also credited as one of the most transparent voting methods in the whole world, not just in Africa, but in the whole world. And this system has been in place in the Gambia since pre-independence. This was used in the colonial era in the Gambia, and it also was used in the First Republic, and also in the Second Republic. It's still the preferred method of using in terms of elections. Even though I know there were calls for the IEC to migrate to using the ballot paper, but I will tell you, most Gambians, I think, they would like to stick with the ballot box and the marble because of the level of transparency that it demonstrates throughout the history of the Gambia.
Now, Mr. Khan, the Gambia has a simple majority, which is also called first past the post. Do you think there could be a tie in the count of presidential aspirants' votes that maybe no other candidate, maybe two candidates are going to have a tie where you may be asked to adjudicate that? How are you going to look at that when there is no issue of second round?
Yes, in the law, the electoral laws provide for first past the post in the Gambia. This is a system whereas a candidate wins based on simple majority, meaning that even having one extra vote ahead of the other candidates, the candidate, the one with the highest is declared as the winner. So during a presidential election, I would say the likelihood of a tie happening, I think, is very minimal. It's very remote. However, the law provides for action to be taken in this circumstance. For example, in case there are two candidates with the highest number of votes and they have equal amount of votes, so the commission is required to conduct another election for those candidates with the highest votes. The two candidates with the highest votes would need to go for another election, which I would call a rerun somehow. So this is the legal arrangement. Of course, I know practically this happening may be very unlikely during presidential election, because during this time, the whole Gambia is termed as one constituency, because it's one president who is being elected for, meaning that the country is regarded as one national constituency, in which case all voters within the country would all vote for the various presidential candidates, among whom we expect to have one with the highest amount of votes who would be declared as the winner. So I would say having a tie in this case may be very limited and minimal, of course, but anyway, once this happens, there are adequate provisions for a rerun to be done, in which case the two highest would go to the polls for a second time in order to have one emerging as the winner of the election.
Okay. As of now, can you update us on the voter register? Like, how many voters do you have in your records?
As of now, we have more than 962,000 registered voters in the Gambia. This was as at 2011, which was the last activity conducted. The last voter registration was done in 2021, in which 962,000 plus 962,000, I think 157 voters were registered in 2021. So of course, right now we, as we are going into the next electoral cycle, which is in 2026 and 2027, we hope to conduct another voter registration, which of course would be a supplementary registration to add up on the existing voters. register. That is, this would try to capture the new voters. These are voters who have just turned 18, and also those that miss to register during 2021. So this will be a supplementary voter registration, and we hope to conduct this in the early part of 2026 in order to update the voter register of the Gambia.
Okay. Mr. Khan, you've been with the IEC for a very long time, since the onset. Now the IEC is into with a new chairman who has also been with the commission for a long time. How do you see this transition? You remember in 2016, it was unprecedented in the history of the Gambia for a presidential candidate opposition to beat the incumbent. So, I mean, how do you see the new IEC team now you have, the transition in from, I mean, you as colleagues now is the man in charge?
Yeah, I would say it's a matter of continuity. The same team, the same personnel are continuing to serve in these elections, because the new chairman was actually the vice chairman during 2021. And again, he has been within the commission for decades, I would say. He served in the IEC for over 2 decades. For over 24 years, he was with the commission as a staff until he was appointed to the commission in 2021. So I would say it's just the good old team who are ready and focused, making sure that they continue to implement the activities as required by law. Of course, we always argue that election is mostly about law, just to translate the legal provisions into action. So I hope it's the same team, also the same team applying the same laws. Although I know right now some few laws are trying to be changed, because there is this election bill before Parliament for consideration. And then once this bill is out, the laws are amended, we continue to implement the provisions of law as expected by all Gambians.
Mr. Khan, the people in the diaspora, Gambians in the diaspora, are not happy with the fact that they cannot vote. They are unable to vote in elections in the Gambia. What do you have to say to them?
Well, I don't think this is quite interesting for us as a commission, but of course, I would just want to say that I would not like to comment much on that for now, because I know this bill is still before Parliament for consideration. So as of now, I would say this is to a great extent a matter for the Parliament. That's the National Assembly for now. So I think we may have to wait till the work of the Assembly is done before we can make any comments on those issues.
The stakes are high for 2026 presidential election. Already, if you look at the tensions within the political parties, it seems everyone is excited that 2026 is going to be a very exciting year of presidential election. From the IEC, from a distance, when you look at what is happening in terms of the news events, what do that tell you actually in terms of preparation, in terms of logistics, in terms of being alert?
One thing I would like to say is that the IEC remains ready and committed to make sure that elections in the Gambia are conducted in the most transparent manner. And again, they are also conducted according to law. This has been the position of the IEC and is the mantra of the IEC, and we continue to implement elections in that manner. Again, I would just have to say that elections, I think, comes with all the noise, comes with all the euphoria, comes with all the controversies. But that's normal. It's a democracy, and people have a right to political participation. So I think once the political space is widened, people are free to join political parties. People are also at liberty to contest in elections, and also people are at liberty and they have a choice to vote in elections. Because as you may know, in Gambia, voting is voluntary. Although as a commission, we always argue or we encourage voters to come out in their numbers to participate in elections as required in any democracy. So as a commission, I would just have to say that we remain ready, we remain committed and steadfast to conduct elections in the most transparent manner.
Well, when you look at the composition of the political party that you have in your record, I'm tempted to ask whether you have all parties that have been there since the PPP era. Some of those parties are whether they are still active, or whether when it comes to maybe reviving them, the law provides that they can be revived. I just wanted you to comment on that.
No, you know, for me, as I see, I can only comment on political parties registered by the IEC, which have been 20 of them for now. The numbers have been increasing. I think from 1997, based on the 1997 constitution, some parties were registered, a few of them initially, which continues to grow. As of now, we have 2025, 2025, we have 20 registered political parties. And once a party is registered, it is a bona fide entity, of course, a political entity that exists within the country. So the political parties, as many as they are, they have a right within the constitution to exist once they are registered by the IEC. And then we expect that they continue to comply with the relevant electoral laws and regulations in the Gambia.
Finally, Mr. Khan, there is confusion as regard one political party that has split. That is the APRC. Which APRC do you have in your records that is recognized by your office?
Yes, as for IEC, there is only one APRC. You know, political parties, they are required to conduct congresses. And in line with democratic principles, Congress is a manifestation of democracy within political parties. This is why the law requires political parties to elect their leaders, which is, of course, done during party congresses. And the APRC, based on their Congress, elected Fabakary Tombong Jatta as the party leader. So the IEC recognizes that there is only one APRC, and that's the APRC for Fabakary Tombong Jatta as elected in the Congress. That's in the APRC Congress.
Okay. There is also this online scam about IEC hiring individuals for work. Does it concern you that people are using IEC to kind of wreak havoc or scam other people around? I'm tempted to ask this question because you deal with sensitive issues. If someone or individuals are bent on trying to do something that the IEC is not doing, it's a cause of concern.
Yes, absolutely. You know, in this era of social media, people unscrupulously would send whatever message, whatever content in the social media. It's unfortunate that this group of people, a so-called media house called Global Media, they send notices that ICE is recruiting people. We just debunk this. We use various platforms to debunk this. This is not from the IEC in any way. And again, for people to be aware that IEC has verified sources of information. including the IEC website and also other verified social media platforms on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on X, in which IEC would disseminate relevant information to the public. So just let people be aware that the IEC has relevant platforms in which messages can be viewed. So let them note that some of these media, these fake news, I think are troubling actually. But again, what we can do as IEC is to debunk this and to notify people that these are fake stories some group of people are doing, and that we debunk it and we condemn it, and to urge people to make sure that in terms of elections in the Gambia, I think IEC is the source of information on elections in the Gambia as the body mandated by law to conduct all public elections and referenda in the Gambia. So it's a matter of concern, and we will continue to address it as such issues unfold.
Thank you so much, Mr. Khan.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right, thank you.